Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope that you're doing well. In today's video, I wanted to talk about how becoming a vegan has totally changed my life. I know that a lot of people have their thoughts around diet and lifestyle, and let me tell you, I'm not a nutritionist, but I think that intuitive eating and being in tune with your own body is the most important gift that you could ever give yourself. Similar to what you've heard me say on my channel before, we are each unique beings and our path is totally different. Yes, we have human experiences and we can draw parallels and find comfort in knowing that we're not alone when people are going through similar things, but at the end of the day, our bodies and our temple and our experience is totally specially designed by the divine just for you. And I think that you know best what type of diet or lifestyle you want to adhere to, and I think we all know what's best for us. But that being said, I just thought that I would share my journey on becoming plant-based. I don't necessarily love using the term vegan. I don't really appreciate labels in general, and I think that while I strive to eat plant-based, it really stemmed from just, I think, my soul journey, and it also was a big part of just being so healthy and focusing on anti-inflammatory foods, just because my body has undergone so much from my volleyball career, and trying to take from the inside out thoughts, emotions, food, everything we consume. I mean, consuming is not just food, right? It's the media, it's energy of other people, it's our coworkers, it's everything. So I personally have always considered myself to be fairly healthy of an eater. I would be honest and tell you that I've struggled with weight. I think any competitive athlete at a certain time frame has probably felt the same. I was meant to sort of bulk up in college and be strong, and as much as I was fit, I definitely probably weighed more than I do now, and it's because I had more muscle and I was training, and it was to try to get more power and my swing as an outside hitter and all those things. Anyway, I came upon a time when I started really focusing on my yoga and meditation practice, and I've shared with this before. It was after a breakup, and I just sort of turned my life upside down on its head and focused personally on my own behaviors, thoughts, patterns, what I put into my body, how I treat my body, how I love myself, how I change my self-talk and any self-limiting beliefs that have, held me back from what I truly want in my life. And part of that was food. And as I went on this journey, I started always kind of focusing more on just eating healthy, fruits and vegetables, like anyone would say. I mean, right? It sounds like the old adage, like eat an apple a day keeps the doctor away. And it wasn't until I went to do my yoga teacher training in Bali, which was one of the most remarkable experiences in my life, and I can totally share that in another video. But we had 30 days for a 200-hour training, and during the training, it was a plant-based diet, and we had the opportunity to be completely vegan and gluten-free, and I chose that option because I wanted to see how my body would respond. And don't get me wrong, it was the most amazing self-development journey and self-discovery and self-healing and self-love. Going through this mindful vinyasa training, I did it with Sacred Paths Yoga, and it was wonderful. We had 3 meals a day. It was very much focused on eating locally through the Bali rice fields and tropical fruits, moringa leaves, lots of greens, and raw desserts and things that I would never in a million years have thought that I even could make or learn how to make. And so shortly after I was in my training, I thought to myself, like, I feel so alert. I just remember vividly waking up, and I'm sure that the 30 minutes every morning of meditation at 6 a.m. and doing the teacher training and the self-reflection, obviously had an impact as well, but this was like on another level. I felt this clarity that I've never felt in my life, in my head and my thoughts. And so I slowly continued. I remember I had a couple days when I got back where I thought, I kind of miss eggs. Maybe I'll try to make like an egg frittata or something. And it just didn't sit right. I just didn't like it. And I immediately just continued with the plant-based, and I am going on almost 3 years in November. I can't believe I'm even saying that, but I just wanted to talk about it because I can't even tell you how many wonderful benefits I've felt with throughout. And it's really tied to the way I interact with others, the way I compose myself, like I mentioned, the clarity. I've been self-employed the last 3 years too, and actually 4 years, almost 5. And working with clients, you all know, for those of you who work with yourself, or those of you just working in a company, it's stressful, and we deal with like rate negotiations. And you know, I'm a creative director, so I'm constantly drafting up statements of work, and there's definitely a negotiation phase that goes into any type of interaction that I have with many of the brands that I work with. And I love the art of how I'm able to put it together, and I swear it's so much clearer, and I feel so much more sure of myself. My body feels cleaner, and not to get too into the details, but I feel like the way I'm able to digest is much more simple for me. I definitely feel full. I know that, like, I've tried in the past, I'm sure you guys could all relate, where people are like, oh, I'm gonna try and go on a diet and like lose a little bit of weight. And automatically the word diet and like restriction is this big awkward boulder that we put on ourselves. Like you know, you automatically feel like there's something wrong with you, and you know, you're not eating right currently, or you don't look beautiful enough, or I'm not thin enough, or whatever it is, those negative beliefs that we tell ourselves, which have nothing to do with our soul. Of course, we're all beautiful souls inside and out, with curves, no curves, more feminine, more masculine, whatever it is. We celebrate who we are from the inside out, and I truly believe that's when your beauty shines. I just felt more in tune with myself, and I just felt lighter. And I mean emotionally. I do think too that when you purify yourself and you cleanse by eating a plant-based diet, there's so many benefits. Like, I kind of joke around now, but I haven't really drank much alcohol in the last, I'd say probably, you know, especially 3 years since I became vegan, because I just feel like it hits me so hard, and I treat my body really well, and I try to craft really nutritious, healthy, plant-based meals. And you know, no matter what course I'm on in terms of like working on a shoot, or if I'm at home, I'm constantly trying to research, learn about different fruits, take supplements. And I think that when you focus so much on like giving your body what it needs to be operating at its optimum efficiency, it's like then you introduce alcohol and it almost feels like poison. It's just hard for me to do it. And I think too, I'm sure for those of you that are yogis or meditators, which I'm sure a lot of you are, it's definitely also another thing that you'll find. I would not want to go up and do a handstand if I had had a drink the night before. It just, my whole equilibrium feels off. And I think in tandem with the meditation and the clearing of energy, and then the clearing of the food and drinking lots of water, it just makes you feel so pure. I think that's the best word to use. And don't get me wrong, I definitely have my days where I'll make a vegan pizza, and granted, it's definitely probably not as unhealthy as a normal pizza, but I mean, I definitely have splurge days, and I try to like just not be so regimented. My mom always teases me. She's like, you're so regimented. And I think it's mostly because I feel so great that I don't want to not do that, because I've gotten used to it. And what a better way than to wake up each morning feeling clear-headed and feeling like you can give it your all and be your best self. I mean, there's really nothing else better. So I wanted to just explain a little bit about how I started being plant-based, and then I have a couple of tips that I was going to share with you guys too. And the tips are mostly around, oh, I also should mention, sorry, I'm just checking my notes. Anyway, I should also mention I was dairy-free for about 6 years prior to becoming vegan, and so I think that helps. But you guys, the reality is there's so many plant-based alternatives to anything that's an actual milk product now that there's like no excuse of not at least trying it just to see how your body feels. Recently, my mom was diagnosed with celiac disease, and she didn't know she had a gluten intolerance, but she's been struggling a lot with feeling discomfort in her stomach and all these other series of issues. And it was almost a relief to her. And so, you know, we've been working when I'm with them on nutritious recipes and ways to avoid the gluten. And I think that we don't even know sometimes what our body needs or what feels best until we try something. So, I mean, I'm not saying you should, you know, throw everything out the window and become a vegan tomorrow, but it's fun to try just little things, like maybe try oat milk or cashew milk. I mean, I don't even remember that much what it's like to have regular ice cream, but I love coconut anything, coconut milk, coconut chocolate, coconut candy, coconut water, fresh coconut, coconut flakes on my smoothies, anything. You name it coconut and I'm in. Coconut milk ice cream, you guys, is legit. There's a kind called Nada Moo, and it's the best thing I think I've ever had. So you're not gonna be like, you won't be missing out. You will be adopting like a new healthy lifestyle, and you'll be finding all these little nooks and crannies along the way that you'll take with you and think, how did I ever not do this before? Okay, so I'm gonna leave you with some tips because I think that's what all good videos do, and I want to really leave you with some meaningful feedback. And I hope you're finding value. But number one, so as a plant-based person, you really, really, really need to drink tons of water. I mean, they say drink 8 to 10 glasses a day. I would go for 12 to 14. I mean, I think I try to drink like close to 75 ounces of water a day. It makes my mind feel even clearer, my body, my skin, everything. It just feels like, if you think about what our body consists of, and I mean even the planet, not to get too Mother Earth on you, but water makes up everything within us, around us, and so the more of it that you can have, the more regulated you'll feel. And oftentimes too, guys, when we're hungry, it's actually because we're dehydrated and we need to drink more water. So one little trick I've done, especially recently, I've been back at work on a photo shoot, and it's a little bit longer days, but when I wake up, I drink one 12-ounce glass of water just to get me started. And I've also been swimming in the morning, so I feel like I need a little bit of something just to set my body off on the right tone. But that's a good way to incorporate it, is just right from the get-go, instead of waiting until bedtime. And then you're constantly getting up and you're wanting to daydream and like fall off to sleep, and then you have to keep getting up to go to the bathroom. So try to start during the morning, and then you'll make it easier on yourself. 2, eat vegetables of all shapes, sizes, colors, and whatever's in season. I've been a farmer's market junkie since I can remember, probably the last like 15 years. I'm such a dork. Like, I even get really sort of planful of like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna make? Lately I've been really keen on this idea of eating what's in season, because I think too, as we honor our bodies and we also honor ourselves changing, and especially going through all the growth and experiences that we've all had during this COVID-19, I find it really fun to see what's in season at the farmer's market. You can go, they have socially distanced protocols, and you can still arm yourself with, like right now, the stone fruit is amazing. I got peaches and plums and nectarines last week. It was so good, you guys. I made a recipe with steel cut oats, and my mom and stepdad had brought all these stoned all these peaches from this amazing place up in Nevada City, and oh my gosh, peach oatmeal to die for. So eating what's in season and feeling inspired by trying new things. I mean, I definitely have had plateaus, and I think we all do, right? Like we're used to being creatures of habit, and there's an ease, and it's also kind of time consuming. It's hard, right? Sometimes you get done with the day and you're like, I don't really feel like I want to cook right now. And I totally get it. But I think what keeps me inspired with new fruits and vegetables is going and seeing like things that I've never tried. I also feel like it feeds my soul because I'm a typical Sagittarius. I love to travel, and we haven't been able to travel obviously at all, nor will we maybe for a while. And it brings me back to being in certain places. Like, I mean, whenever I come back from a country and I appreciate their culture, I start to find myself going to the Asian market and just getting things to make, you know, a more unique cuisine, because it just makes you feel alive. Cabbage is like my favorite thing ever, cooked with like nutritional yeast and like herbs. And I also love raw cabbage salads, just chopped with tons of veggies. And I make this really good like vegan green goddess dressing, which I can leave the link down below too. It's insane. It's so good. And it's actually like a dip. So often I'll just make a big thing of it and leave it in my fridge. You can put it on top of like your burrito bowls, any vegetables that you steam. I put it as salad dressing, or just like dipping carrots and celery, which are my favorite most ever, thanks to my mom. Next, beans, garbanzo beans, any kind of bean is so good. Chickpeas are my favorite. I like to make hummus. I like to just roast or boil the beans and soak them and do the whole thing. But I also, like I mentioned, just got an Instant Pot. You guys, it can make the beans in such a quick amount of time. You can be making soups and just regular raw beans for salads, whatever it is that you like and that feels like right up your alley. But beans actually add a really good, it's just a no-brainer. So like any salad, any like rice dish, even like if you're making a pizza, you can throw the garbanzo beans on there. I love making homemade salad dressings. Mushrooms are another obsession of mine, you guys. Shiitakes, they have so many amazing oyster mushrooms and different varieties of mushrooms. The baby bellas are always good. They soak up so much flavor, and they actually taste like almost like a meat. So I usually get a huge amount of mushrooms at the farmer's market, and I just add them into any stir fry, whatever I'm making, and I just, you know, put some herbs. Fresh herbs are always the best. And then I love all the Bragg seasonings. I mean, they're actual, not like liquid seasonings. I like the Bragg's amino acids too, but they're actually like little spice jars that are so amazing, with like 21 different types of just wonderful seasonings. I will leave the link down below also. But yeah, mushrooms are one of my favorites. The other thing I'm totally obsessed with is tropical fruit. I might just have to take the plunge to do the Miami fruit box that I learned on High Carb Hannah's channel. And it's this amazing fruit plantation where they only grow tropical fruits and box it up and send it out. It's in Miami, and I just love fruit. I always have. I usually eat fruit for breakfast. I love berries, pineapples, citruses. I was obsessed with mangosteens when I was in Bali. I couldn't believe that those precious little presents were actually like created on a tree, and there's like a design, you guys, on the bottom. It's amazing that it's Mother Nature. But if you've never tried a mangosteen, I highly recommend it if you can even find them. They're really hard to find. The other two things that I'll leave you with is, I'm not a big oatmeal fan. I'm just never been, but I have heard that it's really good for your metabolism, and it also gives you a really good amount of protein and complex carbohydrates. And so I started 4 weeks ago when we started this photo shoot that I'm on right now. I started making steel cut oats in the Instant Pot, and I would like swirl around like cinnamon and maybe a tiny bit of vanilla, but not usually any sweetener, just fruit. And I would bring it and warm it up and have it for breakfast. And usually, and actually I think my favorite one was with apples. I sliced up apples and cinnamon, and then when it sort of macerates and gets really like yummy, you can use bananas. I used stone fruit last week also, but I kind of am team oatmeal right now because I realize, like, number one, I've been working out in the morning, and so I'm actually hungry for breakfast, which I think is another thing I've learned that my body really, really likes. But also, it makes me feel so full to the point where I'm like not as hungry at all during the whole day. And so I find myself not snacking as much. And I also feel like oatmeal is one of those foods that it almost feels like a comfort food. It's warm. You can add whatever you want. If you want to add cacao nibs, a little bit of almond butter, fruit, coconut shavings, chia seeds. I also love chia seed pudding too, so I make that quite a bit. But oh man, I could go on and on. I'll continue to do some more. Maybe I'll do like a what I eat in the day video. I've been really enjoying watching other plant-based vloggers do this because it gives me really good ideas, and like finding soups in the Instant Pot. It's been so awesome to have like pretty much the week of food already set aside when you make like a big batch of soup and then you just have it. So maybe I'll do that for you guys, but can you tell I'm inspired by being plant-based? I'm not here to preach at all. I'm sure, I know we're all doing the best we can. I just thought that I would let you know like the little tips that have worked for me and why I feel like being plant-based is so healthy for my soul and mostly for my mind. I just feel so clear. So if you have any questions or you would like to share any of your favorite recipes, feel free to do so in the comments box below. Also, please feel free to subscribe and hit the notification bell for my channel so that you don't miss another video. I try to do weekly meditation videos. Also, I'm hoping this week after I do the Cancer New Moon meditation, I want to try a bedtime stories and see if anybody enjoys that. So with that being said, all my love to you all. Please be well and healthy, and thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.